The September meeting to order. Looking around, we have no one here from the public, so let's move right on to item number 3. And at this time, we'll entertain any additions or corrections to the, to the minutes. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, it's been pointed out that I erred in swapping Mr. McBride and usurping Mr. Price in his role as Vice Chair and Secretary Treasurer. So with that noted, we will make that change for you to correct those. I apologize for that error.
I'd noticed that also, and I just didn't feel like that Jim needed to be in charge of any more vice. You know, he's vice chairman of the city,
No, that's
so he's got enough vice going for him.
that's Vice Mayor Harrell. Apparently
Oh.
that didn't get sent out. Well,
That was in the paper,
right.
so pardon me. Okay, anyway, we're gonna make that change. Any other additions or corrections? And if there are not, I will entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by like sign? They're approved. Let's move on to item number 4. We've all had the opportunity and the time to review the vouchers for both electric and water department. This time, I will ask if there are any questions, if there are any additions and or corrections. Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion and a second for their approval.
So moved.
Have a motion second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed by like sign? Let's move on then to item number 5, which is the review of our monthly reports and their approval. Mr. Fagan.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. In front of you, you have the revenue and expense summary for the month of July. The electric department had a net income of $196,000, and the water department had a net loss of $60,000. It is a 3 payroll month that impacts both departments, but what really helped the electric department was the high hot weather for July. Our electric sales were up, and our margin was up because of the fact that the electric power factor was high for the entire month, so that increased our margin. Industrial sales were down about $300,000 from what I expected, but with the high energy bills or the high usage bills, residential was up and made up the difference this month. So electric department ended up $258,000 ahead of the forecast. That's a good start for the year. Water department was just a little under the forecast because I had projected a $45,000 loss, and we're a little behind the forecast because of some extra line maintenance for the month. And that's all I have unless there are any specific questions.
Ladies and gentlemen, any questions in regards to the monthly reports? If not, again, I will ask for a motion and second for their approval.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and second for approval of monthly reports. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed by like sign? Okay. I know that we normally have got some projects status report. I didn't see anything on that, and I don't see anything flying through on the board there, so let's just,
Apparently I failed to load them in, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, we have them. We have electric.
all right, let's call on Mr. Bowles then.
Well, you don't have anything to look at, but
That's my fault.
I'll just go through this
How
real
about
quick.
how about if we just listen to you real good?
All
and
right,
see if-
well, I'll try to articulate well then. We have 4 projects on the project status report for electric. The Claxton Substation Phase 1 is now complete. That will move to your closing report for final cost accumulation. We have our West Norris Road conversion is about 85 to 90% complete right now. That looks to be on time and well, right all over our budget. The job downtown that several of you have asked about is also on time and looks to be within our budgetary allotment. And we just got started here this week with this Bull Run Road job that you approved for us last month. And that's all that I have on project status, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Mr. Hawkins, do you have
Well,
any to
Water and Sewer
report?
Department's not tracking any major projects at this time, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Let's move on then to item number 7. We have a couple of work orders to approve. First one is work order number 386. These are the electrical department, so once again, I'll call on Mr. Bowles for his input on these projects.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We'll take each one individually. The first work order 386, we have listed as recondition Cross Mountain Feeder Phase 1. This line, this overhead distribution line, is about 7.5 miles through the most treacherous terrain that we have. It does cross over, no pun intended, Cross Mountain, which is about a 3,600 foot elevation mountain just to our north. Most all of these locations are inaccessible, so it's very hard work, very difficult to get in there. So we're going to make a contribution for the next several years in getting this line in better shape. Obviously, when it does fall, when we have trouble, it's a long process to mobilize, to find where the line's down, and then all the work has to be done by hand. So it behooves us to keep this line in tip-top shape. We budgeted $150,000. This is our first stab at doing some wholesale maintenance, if you will, to this line. And with that, we would ask your approval to proceed with this work order 386 as I've described.
How many phases will there be? What's the,
I hope 3, no more than 3.
all about the same thing, about the same?
Yes, I mean, the third phase is going to be kind of the true up. But we'd like to get through this in a 3-year time frame.
I make a motion.
We have a motion second to approve work order number 386. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. All right, let's move on then to 390, please.
Mr. Chairman, work order 390 is also an electric department capital project for this year. We have it in our capital budget for $215,000. With final engineering and all of the tallying of materials and estimates of manpower and time, we've come up with the estimate of $215,611,000. This will provide a new feeder to the Peach Orchard Road area up here, which is just west of I-75. And unless you have questions, we would certainly ask that you approve this work order so we can proceed with it.
Are there any questions? If not, I'll entertain, pardon me, a motion and a second.
Make a motion to approve work order 390.
Second. We have a motion and second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed by like sign. All righty. Mr. Bacon, I believe I'll be calling on you for the item number 8, our 401K investment policy statement.
Okay, This deals with our 401K plan, who we have through Regions, and Regions uses Mass Mutual. And if you look at this letter enclosed, please find a copy of your investment policy statement and parties and interest forms. Our internal and regulatory audit standards require us to update from time to time various agreements and plan certifications. Please note, this does not reflect a change to the operation of the plan. To satisfy audit requirements, copies of this correspondence, certified mail receipts, and reference documents must be maintained in our official files. So this is no change to what we're doing. You know, our employees pick the funds just like most 401Ks. They have an array of funds that they can pick from, and it's up to us to offer that array. And Regions meets with us every so often and makes recommendations whether to add or delete certain funds. And I'm always hesitant to delete a fund because you got a guy that's got a lot of money in that fund, and as soon as you delete it, it's going to skyrocket, and he's going to be mad at you for doing that. So I'm hesitant to do that. But there are times we've had to make changes, but we pretty much go with what Regions recommends we do, with that little bit of hesitation. And that's all this is saying that that's what we're doing, and we're offering those funds, and it's a prototype plan that there's nothing fancy about it, you know. So, and we just need your approval of this statement, which is no change.
Any questions? If not, I would entertain a motion and a second for the approval of the 401K investment policy statement with Regions Bank.
So move on approval.
Second.
Motion second, all those in favor say aye. 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 Any opposed, by like sign. All right, let's move on to item number 9 then. That is other business, Mr. Fay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I've received the water audit evaluation for fiscal year ending June 2016 from the State Controller's Department of Audit. And some of you may remember there is a phase-in validity score which they require to be greater than 70 currently. CUB scored 83 in that, so we're well within the requirements of the state. They also have a phase-in non-revenue water as percent of cost of operating system score that they require currently to be lower than 25%. CUB scored 4.8%. Both of those scores meet the phase-in requirement as it graduates and as the state continues to try to encourage utilities to get within this parameter, which is why they have phased it in. We have, our scores they exceed what their final phase requirement is, which is in 2020. So should we be able to maintain that, which we have every confidence that we will, we've already met the requirements that they set in place to have by the year 2020. Another interesting fact, and this is according to the Tennessean, that health insurers, as you are I'm sure aware, they're asking the state of Tennessee, the officials, for a substantial, hefty premium increase for 2017 for coverage. Now, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Tennessee, who we do business with, as you know, they've topped the request with an average of 62% rate increase that they're asking for 2017. And that's on top of the 36.3% increase they asked for 2016, the year that we're currently in. And I guess in the column of what it's worth, CUB received from Blue Cross, they delivered our funding rates for next year. And I'm happy to say we actually experienced a 9.1% reduction in funding requirements. So we have not only bucked the trend of 62%, we're in the negative of 9.1%. So I thought that would be a factoid that may be of interest to you, and that's all that I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Let's start down with Mr. McBride's or anything.
All good.
Mr. Price.
Nothing more?
Sarah. Mr. Val.
I have a question, and I'm just curious, between Clinton and Oak Ridge, on the poles, about 3 or 4 of them, there are safety cones on top of some of them. And I was just curious if that's marking or what? I'll leave it at that. It just
You
can't
could,
help but catch
At
my eye.
you
18.
could guess for 100 years and never come up with it, I can assure you. Believe it or not, it is a very cost-effective, safe, quick, easy way to deter osprey
Yeah, okay,
from nesting. And we have to shoo them off
sure.
around the river there. And when we shoo them off, we throw a cone up there and they don't come by.
Excellent. Okay, well, that makes sense. I just,
Been one of your guesses.
no, I'd have never got there, you know? I'm like Penny, you just don't hit this pole. You know, hit the other pole.
I
don't
want to
hit
know
this
how
pole.
you figured that one out. Who did that experiment?
You know,
Where's the
we
state?
had some difficulty with the osprey, and I called TVA and asked them what they did. And you'll find on their towers in places around the lakes and the rivers, you'll see some of the same things. Now, you go out west where they have a lot of the raptors, and they actually build little stands for them up there where they can light to protect them so they're not lighting on the pole or the cross arm, because when they stretch their wings out, they can get electrified. But yeah, we didn't come up with that on our own. I'm not going to lie. I did call TVA and ask them, and I thought, wow, that's a great idea. So that's what we did.
Is that it?
We need to
We're adjourned.